the kids. Oh, thank you, Divya. Basically, Odyssey of the Mind is a basically STEM-based program. It's is a creative problem-solving solution and help students to working together and come up with a solution. This is the basic idea. This program was founded around in 1970s, which is almost 40 years back. And there is so many schools who are participating in it. Johnson Art is also trying, is taking membership into this one and giving a platform to the kids to present themselves and compete. So what exactly Odyssey of Mind and why it is different? So we have some others program which is like very targeted. Some are science related, some are arts related. But here it's a combination of different things. It has science and it have arts, it have performance. It's have a different levels. Once we go to reach the level of the problems, Odyssey of Mind is giving in this year. At that time, Divya will tell more about the problems areas, which the kid has to present this year. So while doing this, kid is really thinking a lot about the problems happening in this world and how they can deal with this one, get some good innovative solution about it. So while doing this program, while doing this program, there is like few things is being targeted. That is like global awareness is there. The problem is picked from the challenges we are having in the global, the intellectual curiosity within the problem, that how you want to research the information, how you want to solve it, get to know some existing solutions and how we can improve and be more precise and know what is expected, how to deal with that one. It also helps while doing all those things. There is also like interpersonal skills and skills, communication skills will be improved with the kids. It also targets the creativity and the critical thinking. The self-direction, kid will be like looking in the problem area, how to get to the solution. This is the main area. When they work in a team, they discuss about the questions, which is happening, why it is happening, how we can solve this, what could be the cause of it, and if we go to certain solutions, what be the impact of it. So all those things, it will give a self-direction to the kids that how they can give a solution. It also gives the accountability and adaptability to the child and the team as a whole, to represent and tell that, okay, when they are proposing something, what exactly they are expecting and how they are proposing. So regarding the problem solution, Divya can tell you more. Divya, would you like to present? Divya?
Yes, sorry, I was on mute. And 1 second. And looks like I don't have permissions to share. Okay, that's fine. Just to make progress, if you can share it. Yeah,
I made you a host. Now you can share.
Okay.
ماشي بقول لك ركبة تسلا
الاس كلاس. طب المرسيدس احلى من تسلا. ارقى من تسلا.
Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen with the presentation?
Yeah, we see it.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, Sarita gave an overview of what Odyssey of the Mind is, and just to give an idea of the problem structure and why Odyssey of the Mind is structuring the problems this way is. The crux of this program is that you expose kids to various problems that will actually teach them to think out of the mind, out of the box. And as you do it, you're actually teaching them creativity. And this is not something that you generally learn from textbooks, or unless you go out of the way and put yourself in the situations. And the problem statements in Odyssey of the Mind are structured in such a way that it is not just trusting you to think only technically or only in your comfort zone. The kids are exposed to go out of the comfort zone and explore different areas. And while they explore, they also try to understand that maybe it's not just one area they have passion towards. They figure that performance is something that I'm actually good at, and I want to explore something more other than what my current hobbies are. So and all of these problem statements are structured in such a way that the kid is forced to think out of the box, to explore different areas, and also to welcome opinions or different perspectives from different people, right? So and that makes for a wholesome development for the kid, and they are ready to take on any challenges that may come their way, or whatever the future holds, right? We are not ready to solve the problems for their future problems, so they have to be ready for doing that. And that's what this kind of teaches you. So I'll go through the problems one by one. So there are different areas that every year a kid can pick and be part of team, and they will try to solve that problem. And for example, what you see on the screen is that there are 5 different problem areas. That's the vehicle, and then there's technical, classic, structure, and performance. But like I mentioned, the main theme of that problem area could be dominant, but even in a vehicle, you have to, the competition is structured in such a way that you have to do like a skit, you have to perform something, or be funny, you act something, you prepare a structure, you think in terms of engineering, you think in terms of arts, you are actually performing, you take in emotions, and you understand all of that. So so the first one, more on the so the 5, I'll go through the 5 problem areas in my next slides, but I do want to point out to 2 other problem things that you see on the right side: primary, introductory, and the spontaneous. The competition is in such a way that there is a regional level, there is a state level, and world level competition. And kids who are in a team, they will go represent the school at the regional level first, and they will present this problem. And if they proceed and if they do well at the regional level, they are promoted to present at the state and then the world level, right? So there is also, as part of the competition, there is a spontaneous problem statement that the team will be presented when they go to the venue. All the other problem areas that I've talked about, from problem 1, vehicle, through performance, they will be given at the start of the what you can call competition term. It's a long-term problem. So right when you're ready to, when you've formed a team, you will be given a problem statement. You will start working on it on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, whatever the team is comfortable with. And there's a competition in Feb that's that will happen in at the regional level. Sarita can go over the details of that. And that's when you present the problem. But the spontaneous is something that you are you are given at that moment. So teams go in at regional level at that moment, they're called in and they say, how will you solve this problem? And they'll be given like 5 to 6 some X minutes of time, and you think on the spot and do a sketch, or there is a hands-on problem. So how do you solve that? And the other one that I didn't mention about is the primary problem. So the primary is just as an introduction to lower grades, and it gives them a feel of how this
I'm
problem
sitting here, you go find books, some non-fiction as well.
Yeah. Okay. So let me go over the problem statements itself. And this slides would be updated on the PTA website, but I do, and there's a couple of videos linked to the slide that I would encourage you to look at, and it will be useful for you to understand what this looks like. But I did want to show a brief video, if I may, to give you an idea of what this is. And let me just start.
It's a fairly simple problem.
It's just 2 minutes. I don't want to go beyond that, but that will give you an idea of what Odyssey of the Mind is. And
It's a fairly simple problem. How do you get from one side of a lake to the other without getting wet? The answer is obvious. Take a boat. But if you couldn't use a boat, then what would you do?
And by the way, the raccoon is a mascot for the Odyssey of the Mind, because it's curious and explores. And this is one of the first
If you look
problems.
beyond the obvious, you'll see that there are many ways to cross that lake.
These are some of the real world solutions that came in the conditions.
More. Imagine. The possibilities are endless when you learn to use your creativity. Millions of kids are using their creativity and doing amazing things in Odyssey of the Mind. The program started back in 1978 when New Jersey College professor Dr. Sam Miklas introduced a different type of learning. Dr. Miklas presented problems for students to solve through innovation, imagination, and originality. Now, Odyssey of the Mind is a worldwide phenomenon.
Okay, I want to stop at this because I just wanted to give you a glimpse of how this would look like, and when there are questions or any clarifications, I can go and show more. Yeah. Okay. Are there any questions at this point?
I got a punishment though.
Okay, so yeah, so this is the primary problem, and it's open for grades kindergarten to second grade. A form of team of like 5 to 7, and then you tackle this problem, right? So for this year, the problem statement is that the teams will have to build a vehicle that is powered 3 ways: human power, gravity, and the free choice of battery and wind. And it has to do 3 things in the least: that it will have to travel forward, backward, and turn on the side. And like I mentioned, it's not just limited to that technical thinking. You need a funny narration, you need a mechanic character, you have to come up with a whole way of presenting things. You come up with a mechanic character. What character are you going to give them? A salesperson who's going to sell you that vehicle or whatever, right? And a song about transportation. So these are all fun things that kids get together and then brainstorm and do whatnot. It's actually great for the parents to see how they come up with all of these ideas. And yeah, so that's the primary level problem. This is the first, the problem statement 1, which is the vehicle. And so Sarita and myself will be there to clarify each of these problems, and you can reach out to us for any of these problem statements are vague, and they are meant to be vague. And that is to make give you the freedom to think, go beyond what you normally think. But there are also rules to it, right? So for any clarifications that are needed, you can reach out to us, and if we don't know the answers ourselves, we can reach out to contacts on the Odyssey of the Mind committee and get that clarified for you. And I can give you an example of a clarification that would come up. There's a problem statement next that when I read, I immediately had this doubt, and I can go through that scenario. So for example, in this case, it's an escape room that we generally think of, but this is like a vehicle that the team will have to build, and you will be given a room, and the vehicle is supposed to navigate the room and leave clues in different places. And the team has to solve for these clues and escape the room. And as part of it, there's a skit provided as well. So, so that's the problem statement 1. And this is a technical one. And this is a sponsored problem. And to be honest, I don't know what a sponsored problem means, but this is a sponsored problem this year by Arm & Hammer. And generally, yeah, the technical problem is that you will kind of enact a scenario where you are inventing something. In this case, it's going to be you're identifying an original threat to the environment and self-replicates, something like COVID, right? And then you're trying to solve, you're a scientist, you're trying to solve that. That's something that I came up with. But if you actually give the kids the freedom to think through this, they may come up with some awesome scenarios. Again, the performance will include a more original music, 2 animal characters. There are clarifications in that animal characters that I saw online, that what are these animal characters? You can, for example, you can have a rabbit which is talking, but you can't have a rabbit that everyone identifies normally. Like you can't, for people who are aware of Bugs Bunny, you cannot enact Bugs Bunny. It should not be like that. You should not identify the character as a Bugs Bunny character. It should be an original character, rabbit character, but not something that you've already seen in cartoons or whatnot. Not something that you see in Paw Patrol or something like that, right? It can be a dog, but not for people who have seen Paw Patrol, not Marshall or something like that. Yeah, so those are the kind of clarifications that generally come up, and the Odyssey of the Team can clarify that for you. But the scoring at the competition time would be based on the originality, would be based on how well that you've thought through, how well your technicality is, how well the quality of your production is, right? So all of that makes a difference. And this one is a musical production wherein you're taking a historical figure. Say you pick Albert Einstein, and then there will be something that you're enacting how they solved a problem, how they felt about it. And it will include a lighting effect, scenery, and it may be a simple detail, but a membership sign that will appear as a marquee, that means that you're thinking through how you're going to present that. It can be as simple as thread pulling it, your battery operated, like an LED flash, it can be anything. So all of that makes a difference in the scoring. So that thinking through Matryoshka is, this is the Russian nested doll, if people are aware, and this is more on the flexing your architecture, flexing your engineering mind, wherein you're given balsa wood of 1/8 inch, I think, and you have to build this nested structure one within the other. And at the competition time, what happens is, I don't know if people paid attention to the video, there was this entire structure, the wooden structure that was laying on top, and they kept weights on top of it. It has to withstand that weight. So there is a technical aspect that on how much that structure is able to withstand and how much you're able to solve, that you're able to nest all of these structure together, and inside you have a small tiny character. So that's a Matryoshka structure problem. And this is a performance on a life as a circus, wherein a person thinks that they're dreaming, and then they're going into the circus world, and there are animals performing different tricks. Again, here also that animals has to be original animals. It cannot be something that you've already seen in any other cartoon or some other known shows, right? Or movies. Can't be like that. And then they're performing their own tricks, and then they get up and figure that it was a dream, until a minor detail, but it's easy to overlook that in the end, there's a twist that maybe it was not a dream, and the character was actually walking in front of them. So what do you make of that? So how do you present all of that? So there are minor details to this problem statement, but each of them, they make a difference. So that's an overview of, I think, the long-term problem statements. And teams have like until February to meet and discuss and brainstorm and develop and prepare props, come up with costumes, enact the kits and a skit, and have fun throughout the entire process, and get ready for the competition. So that was the long-term problems. Any questions at this point before I move on to the spontaneous problem section?
Yeah, I have a question. So, so a team will have to participate in all and solve all the problems, or can they choose like which one?
Yeah, so Sarita will go over the details of the team formation, but it's not all of them. So when you sign up, you will sign up saying that you are interested in this particular problem statement. You want to get involved and solve this problem statement, right? And then if you already have other kids who you know can be part of a team, please sign up as a team. And we have a Google form wherein you can sign up as an individual or team, and we'll try to help form a team. But the team, there is a coach and co-coach, and they will help put kids in a team. But you can give your preference for sure, and we will try to make sure that you get that preference. But it's only
yeah. Hi, my name is Sumant. I have a question. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Right. So if we choose one of these topics, let's say the Russian doll problem, right? So we'll have time to prepare some kind of a structure, and then the objective is to present it on the day of a competition, correct?
Yes, you will have time from now until Feb to make that structure.
Okay. Okay, it's not the kids don't have to do it on the day of the competition.
Yeah, no.
Okay, but they may have to prepare some questions for the, I mean, in case judges ask something, then they might have to answer them impromptu, correct?
Yes, and there is a coach for the team who will help organize the meeting so that the kids can get together and brainstorm and do this, right? I think those parts it's coming later in the presentation on what the role of the parent is, what is the coach responsible for. But to give an idea, the coach and co-coach are supposed to be hands-off, but they have an important role, but they have a limited role, meaning you have to be hands-off, but you also help them meet and provide that emotional support if they are if they have a difference of opinion when the brainstorming session is happening, how do you help them cope with that? So those kind of social skills is where you will get used in. But the problem, the solution part of it, the adults, the volunteers, coach, co-coach, they should not be part of that solution. They should be part of the helping to help the kids solve the problem. That is the responsibility, but nothing more than that.
Okay, so when we form a team, that the parents will not have any input in choosing the problem, is it?
You can, the kids, if they are, they can understand enough and they are mature enough to make a choice for themselves, yes, I think you can ask the kids. But if they are too small and you want them to, actually, you would want them to explore different things. That's the whole point of Odyssey of the Mind, that it's not that technical. Go into art and explore and see, do you like it or not? So maybe they will like it. So each year, so 1 year you pick one problem and the next year you can go and pick some other problem. So it just makes sense like that. So, what I've heard and what I've seen is that once you are in this program, you will want to explore back and forth. And
My teacher. Yeah, hi, this is Nina. I have a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. So in some of the older, I mean, some of the former, this thing, journey or something, I think you showed the video, so which was actually an animation. So for example, specifically when, we are using animal characters and so on. So the other kids are supposed to create that animation video?
No. That was just an introduction video to the Odyssey of the Problem. So this is a hands-on, like you will be live presenting it.
Right, so the kids would enact, like in all these divisions, whatever you showed, in all of that, kids would be playing the part, right?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
So I think there was a brief section in that video where kids were performing, kids were actually placing that structure and they were placing the weights.
Yes,
that is the actual venue of the problem.
Okay, great. So I thought that in Circle of Circus of Life is going to performance. Can we mute? Can the host mute other parents, please?
Yeah, I'm not able to mute them. So if people can mute themselves, that will help.
I think the host would be able to mute everyone. Yeah, but that's fine. So thank you for clarification. I thought that in some things you can basically you have to animate, and some you have to play the role. But it's great that in everything they have to play the role.
Right. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. I'll stop again after this section. But the spontaneous section is again the coach I mentioned, the co-coach. So they or any other volunteer within the team, right? Parent volunteer or elder sibling or who is 18 plus years of age, right? So they can volunteer and they can help prepare the kids for the spontaneous problems. And spontaneous problems are generally 3 types. You can have a verbal wherein it's just you're asked a question and then like it mentions, it is improvisation or dramatization, right? And then there is a hands-on, like how, I think I have an example in the next slide. Yeah. So these are type of questions that can come up during the spontaneous, like build a structure with marshmallows and toothpicks that will hold up the tub, right? And then put nails into the tub. It's vague, but it'll make the children think, what does it mean, put nails into the tub until it collapses? So what do you think of it? How do you demonstrate it? All that would come. And then name things that hurt and what they hurt. It's not just talking about it. If you can dramatize it, if you can perform it, then that comes in the verbal, right? And then there's obviously verbal and hands-on combination where you make a sculpture and then tell a story out of it creatively. So these are some of the spontaneous examples, and you may think how you can prepare them for that, but there is an entire coaching session that is provided by at the regional level, district level, that once you sign up and you want to be coach, and it's a great experience being a coach, that you will also learn mentoring skills, right? It's not just for the kids. It's very difficult to be hands-off and then let them do it. But as you do that, you will learn a lot of social skills yourself as well. And there are coaching sessions just for this. They will provide you with booklets. They will provide you with different types of spontaneous problems to ask them on a weekly basis whenever you meet and you have the brainstorming session, and just overlook that. I think any other questions regarding the problem statements, or
I think we can target about that one later on.
Yeah.
Let's look at how we can form the team and what is the roles and responsibilities for kids and parents.
Sarita, I'm going to stop so you can share.
Sure. Yeah, same issue.
I don't know how to make you a host. I'm sorry.
So go into the participants. And,
Yeah, I got it. Done.
We need an improvement in this tool. Okay, thanks, Divya. Thank you for explaining the problems and what all things kids may go through while doing this competition. So next is the team formation, what exactly we are looking, not we are looking, but the ODC rules about the team formation. So when we say team, so team is basically the team of kids from 5 to 7 in number. Anywhere we have less than 5, the team dissolves, so they cannot represent. So in this case, we suggest that, okay, let's keep a minimum of 6. So Synod will be targeting kids anywhere from 6 to 7. We can form the team, and then Synod will register them. When we say what is the roles of the parents, here the coaching and volunteering comes into the picture. So coaching, volunteering, kids, they all are like shared responsibilities. John Synod is giving a platform to represent, but entirely this program, and not this program, but the problem and the solution, coming up with the solution, how to present, entirely depends upon the children, participating children, and their coach and the volunteers. When we say coach, coach is the one. The coach is something we can say that he's the main contact person for that team. There will be a training provided by this coach. So for us, the regional center is Silicon Valley, ODC of the Mind. They will be giving us training. It's one in November and one is December. It's a virtual training. Once we go through that training, then one of the parent can become coach. We can also share this responsibility by having a co-coach. So if in any case coach is not present, co-coach can take over. And when it is, especially when kid is presenting in the competition level, coach here plays like an important role, make sure that everything is there and kid is able to perform it properly, they don't miss anything. So those kind of things. What else? Yeah, this is all covered. Volunteers. So if we say, let's pick a number. Let's say that we have a team of 7 kids. We can have, within that 7 kids, we can have one parent acting as a coach, one parent acting as a co-coach. Still we're left with 5 more parents who will be like actively working with the kids. So basic requirements, all coach, co-coach and volunteers should be adult. The minimum age is 18 years. The volunteers, they will be hosting the meeting, or else meeting. Yeah. So meeting can be like virtual or in person. Like we suggest that we start with virtual, and later on from December onwards, or whenever the team is comfortable, start meeting in person towards the solution, how they are going to act, get the kids involved more and let the kid know each other as much as possible, so that it helps them to present, and we can see that, okay, how kids are coordinating and develop some leadership skills in that one. So everything. So volunteers, they help in presentation of material preparation, but they cannot hire a professional presentation of material. So the entire presentation should be prepared by the kids. The next one is spontaneous problems. So we looked into the slides that we have 5 problems. When a team is formed, before team is forming, we have to pick one problem and tell that, hey, we are going to target this problem. Say I'm going to work on problem number 2. So my team is working on problem 2. We will be presenting, and every team, after the presentation, every team also have to go to the spontaneous problem. Spontaneous problem, what the judges will be doing, they will be giving them a problem, and then they ask them how you're going to solve it. After that, they will leave the kids for 5 minutes alone so that they can have a discussion among themselves that how you're going to solve this problem. And after the 5 minutes, they have to come back and they have to tell that, hey, we are going to solve this like this way. So here when, and everyone is given solutions, and based on that, the competition, the winner is selected. So here when we say the solution is being proposed, the team, actually judge want to see that how team is performing as a team, like everyone is contributing, the leadership skill, the presentation skill, and the most important thing I have heard is the collective efforts of the team. Everyone have to present there. So at the same time, why, when we say that why the parents are being selected as a volunteers here, because parents are already connected to the kids. Like we will be like preparing the presentation, monitoring. We will be like, even if we are preparing for this presentation throughout the year, here at least one of the parent will always be there. So it's good that we can have the volunteers from the parents. When we say presentation, the presentation will be different levels. I will share the dates soon, not soon, just after this slide. So when we talk about the team, now the question comes that how many teams we can form. If you see into the problems, one is the primary problems. Primary problem is basically from kindergarten to grade 2. In this question, in this case, in our case, only one team can represent a primary problem. So ideally, we can have only maximum 7 number of kids to be selected within a primary team. After that, we have division 1. Division 1 is grade 3rd to grade 5, and grade 3rd to grade 5. How this is division is being picked? They get to know each and every child in which grade they are, the maximum and the minimum. They will make sure that the team fall within that level. If anyone comes into under grade 6, then they will jump to grade 2nd. So in case of okay, yeah, the grades are done, teams are okay. We want to form a team. The problem here is one school can represent only one problem area. So if there is like, if one team is presenting problem 1, another team cannot present the same problem. They have to pick something else, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, maximum 5 team we can pick up in all 5 problems. That is the one. So that is the ones for division 1. Same thing applicable for division 2 also. Ideally, division 2 is for grade 6 to grade 8, but as the membership is John Sinnott level, we have maximum level is grade 6. We don't have grade 7 or 8. We are not collaborating with Rancho. So in this case, only the grade 6 grader will be having teams. Maximum we can form 5 teams, and everything will be same, like applicable to the same thing, whatever is for the division 1 problems, 5 problems. They cannot repeat the same thing. So that is the one. These are the age division. When we say primary, division 1, 3rd grade, 3rd to grade 5, division 2, grade 6 to grade 8. We are just halting till grade 6. We are not going to talk about more about the higher level. Okay, question comes that when there is like a competition in this kind of things is happening, and there is like different divisions, higher kids having teams having a higher grades, or else kids, the big kids are more likely to win. It's not like happen in this one. The winner will be selected in each and every problem plus the division. That means division 1, problem 1 will have one winner. Division 1, problem 2 will have one winner. So each and every problem area and each and every division stands alone in this competition, and this gives a lot of advantage. The logistic. So John Sinnott is covering the basic cost, which is the registration, the national fees, that is $135. Johnson, it will be registering for that one. North Cal State Fit. This is our regional level of competition. It will be costing $80. And then we have, North Cal is our state, which is in Sacramento. And then we have Silicon Valley, which is regional. It will cost $75 for each team. Most probably Johnson, it will be covering that. But if in any case, if we have a shortage of fund, then I think so we can contribute, we can raise fund, and we can expense out this one. Then we have some supply cost when we are preparing for the presentation. The supply cost will be should be done by the team itself. They cannot hire a professional. It should be like there is some certain limit that we how much we can spend. It cannot be so much expensive. So we will talk about the supply cost and what all things can be included in presentation. The coach will go through all those details. We say that there is like a regional and the state level and international level of competition, there is like a lot of traveling. The regional level is Sunnyvale, Silicon Valley. Santa Clara will be having somewhere location. Then we have Sacramento, and the world level is Iowa, where the competition will be happening. Usually when there is like international, it is mostly self-sponsored by the team. So we can discuss about that one later on. Key dates, the spontaneous mania. This is like a training the kids how they are going to work with spontaneous questions. Then they have to given a problem, explore the problem and find the solution for 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, they have to present it. So they will be having some what we say mock spontaneous question. It will happen in January and February, or February date is not yet confirmed, but soon once it is finalized, we will share. Then there will be coaching training. The coaching training will be in November and December. This is pure virtual, and the training are like self-involved, like we don't have to stick to the time that much. Judges training. Okay, so parents who are not only involved in coaching and volunteering, there are some parents also like who are like likely to be judge. Judge will be like a higher level. There we can share, we can request Silicon Valley to accept some of the candidate as a judge. They can volunteer that. That training will be happening in February. That is like a total different thing. We can talk about that one later on if someone is interested. Then the regional tournament, which is in Santa Clara, it will be on February 26th. It will be entire day, and most probably it will be on Saturday. This is tentative date. Let's see how things will go. Then we have state tournament that is in Sacramento on March 26th. The world tournament is on from May 25th to 28th. That is Iowa State University. So if team is able to secure a good position, is a win in regional, they go to state. If they win in state, they go and represent an international platform. So that is a good thing. Judges, we can talk about that one later on. There are some more information. International website is odysseyofthemind.com. The North Cal Odyssey is our state level of competition. This is North Cal Odyssey organization, and Silicon Valley is the SVOMR. We can go into the details and look into the things. Okay, that's it. Done. Any questions? I'm sure there should be a lot of.
Hi, quick question. This is Meena again. So when you say world level competition, it's in Iowa. So does it mean that teams from around the world will be competing in that? Yes. So whoever winning the state tournament, they will be coming there. Although we say that world level, but I don't have like, this is the first time we are participating in this one. So I don't know that how much outside the America is participating there, but definitely in America, there's a lot of schools who are coming. That's what I was getting at, because you know, here the World Cup is US only. So US is the world for US. But yes. Yeah. So, but still, I mean, it's a great thing that you guys are initiating.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that. So one thing which would also help is for us to know how much time commitment is required for the coaches, or to basically volunteer for being a coach or a judge. So if we can know that, that will really help. I mean, you may not have this information right now, but just, FYI.
So actually, this is entirely depend upon the team, how they want to go and how they want to target it. Sometimes most of the team, they are like, okay, let's meet once in a week. It could be like later in the evening or on the weekends. They can fix one of the date and time, and they can decide among themselves. So when I say that coach and there is a lot of things happen with this preparation. The coach will be preparing the higher level of material, sometimes sharing with the volunteers that how we have to prepare the kids about this competition. And volunteers who are actually working with the children, they will be like telling them, okay, how to do it. I'm sorry.
So one thing I did want to add to that was that it is not just the responsibility of the coach and co-coach to do all of this, right? There are multiple things that you can think of when you're trying to volunteer into this. It's like basic things like picking up kids so that they can meet, when they meet, they typically think of it like a brainstorming session, right? So maybe they'll be there for a couple of hours, or maybe for the afternoon. Do they need snacks? One of the volunteers can spend, or just send them fruits or something like that along and help. And coach, co-coach, I think mainly, like I mentioned before, it really needs to be a hands-off approach. But where would the coach and co-coach really be involved in? Maybe there are difference of opinions that the kids don't know how to resolve among themselves. So how do you go and prepare them for that, or just like a general idea, right? Like for example, if it was a performance arts, like tell them about improvisation. Like how would improvisation actually help them to build their own confidence and build them to perform? So maybe you can train them in improvisation, but not if you want to do that, but not the solution of that.
Right. Yeah. So here's just a follow-on question here. So you mentioned that in grade first to third there could be 5 teams, right? So each kid would have a different skill set to bring, right? So the team, how they'll be placed in a team would depend solely on parents getting together and creating a team, or would we send, you'll get all the names on Google Sheet, and then you'll kind of evaluate each kid and place them in different teams based on the fact that there's one kid that brings one specific skill set and the other kids bring another. So just wanted to understand the team placement.
So
how would it work?
We do have a Google Form sheet for both signing up as a individual and the team. So if you already know some kids who want to form a team and have diverse skill sets, it's actually good to have that. And if you can add them. And a good point that you brought was what skill set you bring along, right? I think we will modify this as a sheet so that you can add your skill set, and then maybe you can help form the team that way.
Absolutely. I think that will be a great thing to do.
I want to add on this one that when we say that team formation, how the kid is picking. So basically we are first targeting, okay, let's keep the team should be like 7 kids. And if there is like one kid, he said that he is interested in problem 1 and problem 3, there we can see that, okay, if we can have problem 1, let's get first 7 kids into that one. And if we do not have a space in that there, then we can create a second one. So the team formation itself, it's like more of a demanding that what exactly, how much kids are there to participate, and whether we have capacity or not.
Right. But I think you mentioned, or someone mentioned early on, that kids may not even know what exactly they should be signing up for. And it would be good for them to try new things. So not too sure if, for example, even if I would know that which one to sign my kid up for. So, I don't have a set mindset that, okay, I want to sign it up for XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And it's mostly happened with everyone. Even I'm like in a mixed state that where my daughter should be going. But let's see how things will come, how much applications we are getting, and we can target on that.
Yeah, and I think just to kind of further my point around the skill set that the kids bring, you know, I was thinking that some kids, they are, you know, good at singing, some are good at skits, you know, performing, or so, and you know, some are good at certain parts, like, you know, maybe figuring out technology. So I think that should be, we can divide them up by you know, all those criteria, and this may help in figuring out which teams make sense.
Yes, and yeah, so so that's the thing that we are striving to do, right? If you already have an interest area and you are wanting to form a team, please do it. It is, again, like, I think it's getting obvious, it is going to be on a first come first serve basis. So please do sign up. But one thing I do want to add is that as parents, don't be disheartened if you don't get into the area of interest that you want to explore that particular year. This is going to be there for next year and the year after that, right? And if it is not this year, then you'll be in some other year. And once you form a team and there's a comfort level, that team kind of sticks on for year over year. And so if you drop out of the program now, so maybe you won't even have the spot next year. So even if you don't get into your first preference the very first year, please stick on. It'll be there next year.
And this is the first time Senate is doing it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Great.
So actually, I just want to add on that when we form a team, it's like a different skill set they will be having, kids. Some is like leadership, some will be in the arts, like they all have a different skills set. And when we are preparing a solution, the kids, they are themselves is involving into this questions, that how their questions and answer, that how they are going to solve this. This is like parents are giving them a thought process that how you're going to do. And definitely I can make sure that if we have like a team where everyone is like engineers, we cannot have like, we cannot be a good presenter, you know. So
right.
We need a mix of everything. So that is the one thing. I think for second thing that we have said earlier about the team formation, like we can form the team in a group also. Like if your child and she have a best friend, or she have a friend, and there is like 3-4 kids, so they are like, okay, we want to be together, so let's, wherever you take us together. So you know, it's really very helpful for parents also, you know, to coordinate when kids are like already know each other. So we can sign up as a team then, and then whichever problem areas they are picking, they will be picking, and they will be doing it. When we say perform the problems areas, you know, we have seen vehicles, we have seen performance. The performance itself is not only the performance, there is some technicality also involved in this one. So I can say that although it looks like it the problems are specific to something, but it's a coordination of different skill sets kids are having.
Right.
And it's all parents that how they want to come up with a solution.
Right. Absolutely.
And again, competition is just one aspect of it, right? It's about having fun, and when you're really pushed out of your comfort zone, once you're doing that, you automatically get more skills. That will definitely help along the way.
So I have a question. So basically, let's say this meeting ends and then my son is interested. So the first thing I have to do is fill out the form. But if he already knows like 2-3 friends who might also be interested, so whose responsibility will it be to bring the teams together? Can we as parents and volunteers come to you and say that, okay, this is what one team is looking like, and this is the problem we're interested in, can you please help us sign up? Or will it be, every kid will sign up on a form, and then you will decide, and which team makes more sense?
So that's a very good point. And actually, we want people to say that we have so much. So for us, it is very difficult for me or Sarita to say that, this is the form that makes sense. That's not how, we have very little idea of how the team is. So if you have people who are there, tell them that there is a way to sign up as a team. And as part of the sign up, whether you're signing up as an individual or a team, we definitely ask for the volunteer involvement. Like, how can you volunteer? Are you interested in becoming a coach or a co-coach? And so the coach and co-coach are the ones I think we will look to them to finalize the team. We can help them with a little bit as chairs and co-chairs, but the coach and co-coach are the ones who we are going to seek out to finalize the team.
Yes, Divya. In application form, there is a way to sign up as a team. And second thing is, before finalizing any team, we will confirm from the parents that this is the team and it looks like this, and let's finalize it. And once it is finalized, then only we are going to confirm it as a team and register them with the Odyssey of the Mind. Yeah, Advait.
Hi, so my question is, I was looking at the form and like it gives you the option of registering as a team or an individual, right? So say I want my kid to be in a team, but I'm not able to form the team because you said like we need at least 5 to 6 kids. Maybe I'm stuck at 4. So then what do I do? Like, can I still fill up this form? And then can you like maybe if like then, or if like I'm able to just find 2 kids. So then how do we get the rest of the 4 or 5 kids, right? Maybe they want to work on different problems. So then in that case, how do I fill up this form as a team? Or can I put, is there some way of knowing, okay, these many kids are working on this, you guys are short, I can put my kid in there? Like, how do I do that?
I would suggest just to register your kids, like it's just grouping them together that, hey, these 3 kids want to go together, and rest of the position will be open. And if anyone is coming and filling up as an individual, and they will be given up that slot. So it's not like purely that I want a team of for my kids and like this 6 or 7 kids, my own kids. That is not happening. It's we can have certain group, but it's also open for others.
Can we also have a Google sheet with different teams and grades so that whoever enrolls, they can put their names there and we know who is there, what, and how many people are there in each group, kind of thing?
We haven't think of that one about the Google sheet. But basically, I don't know that what is the purpose of that one. When we are registering in a team, we can see that, okay.
Yeah, because when we register in a team, we don't know who are in other teams and how we can, if someone is interested in another team, like Spencer, like is another team, like they can see like who which kids and from which grade are in particular group, kind of thing, right? So might be useful for some of the parents, kids, I think.
So honestly, all of these things did go through our mind, and I'd be lying if we say that we have a solution for this. No, we don't. So if people can figure out and can reach out to us and say that you can, if the team formation is easy, then we'll be the most happiest. But I think because this is the first time that we are trying out, it's going to be, we are going to try and do our best and reach out for any help.
So how about this one, Divya? Once let the parent fill up the form, and then once we have finalized everything, not finalized, but like we have a good information about how what all kids are participating, and we can form a team. We will put all those data into spreadsheet and then share with the parents. And if they want to make some changes, it's open and everyone can change according to their preference.
Yeah, that's what I meant actually. If you need help, I can also help you guys.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I can help too. Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, for the next couple of weeks, we'll try to add as many details to the website, and we'll keep the communication open so that we get the traction going. And then once the team forms, it becomes a little bit smoother.
So regarding the timeline, we can fill up the application form by October 10th. And after that, we will consolidate the information and then team formation. Most probably, let's target somewhere mid of the October for the team formation. And once the team is formed, then parents can start working with the kids and the problem solutions. Does that sound good?
Sounds good. Thank you.
So someone had a question on whether a child can participate as an individual in one activity and a team member in another activity. So when you are at the competition, you can only belong to one single problem statement. So you can try and sign up as to see where you can fit in. So until the registration, maybe you can sign up both as individual and team member. But finally, when you're part of a team, you're just part of one team.
One thing, like I just want to add on that this information, some of the information which is not relevant to John Synod, so we did not share. But first of all, the application form will be with the message which is there in Parent Square. We will share again. And second thing is, sometimes like some of the kids, they want to participate, not related to the school, but they want to present by themselves. And still they have a limitation that they need a team of 5 to 7. The age group should be 3 to 5 or 6 to 8 or primary to grade 2. That is the second limitation. Third thing is they have to register as an individual, and that will be a virtual one. So if you go to the Odyssey of the Mind, there you can find the information, but it will be like standalone. It's not related to John Synod. So you can gather more information there, or else you can ask, get in touch with me. I can share some information, whatever I have. Any other question? Well, look like this time we are going to have very good team, and let's get something like try to achieve. Okay, did I mention that the coach and the co-coach, they also have, we are planning them to have a monthly meeting among themselves, so that each team can share the information with other team that how they are working. It will be just coach and co-coach will be doing it. So more collaboration, more helping out. We are not competing against each other. We are competing with outside. That is the best part of this one.
But if there are two teams in Division 1 trying to solve the same problem,
no.
Who acts who brokers?
There could be only one team.
There could be only, yes. There is only one team.
Okay. So there is no internal decision.
No. So if there is two teams, one will be solving one problem and another one will be solving another problem, and they will be competing in their own problem areas. So they will be having their own zone. They will not be competing with each other. Let's contribute together and make it more successful.
Just can you give a sense like which of those 5 problems have been more popular than the others in the past?
All of because some kids may be interested in performing, and some of them are more interested in you saw there were architecture and civil, and some in tech hands-on, right? Like vehicle, you can think of different, there's physics, there's chemistry, pick any subject, you will have a kid who's interested in all of those.
So these are the 5 problems. First is vehicle, technical, classic, structure, and performance. These are the standard expected questions. But in fact, also in like every year, the questions changes. Say for problem 1, there is like some other questions for vehicles. This year, the problem is exactly, this is for primary. This is the escape room. This is the question for vehicle problem. You can go through these details, and there is no perfect answer for it. It's entirely depends upon how the children or the team thought processes is, how they present, how effective it is, and how they are involved. So entirely it's depend upon this thing. There is no perfect answer. Just whatever you do it with confidence and kill it.
And one more thing I forgot to mention during this was that when you're working on this problem, right, when the problem statements are explained and you get the problem statement at hand, the co-coach, they will get the details. There is also a budget limit, and the kids have to work within that budget limit. So it teaches them how to manage finance as well. So it's not just one single thing. So you have to stick within that budget limit on how much you spend for your materials, and all those.
Is this presentation shared somewhere?
Yeah, we're recording it, so we'll put it on the PPB website.
Okay. Thank you.
So basically, Senate can have maximum 10 and 11 teams, right? So one team for primary, 5 teams for Division 1 and 5 teams for Division 2, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And when they are performance, they will get a timer of 8 minutes.
Okay. So 11 times, let's say 60, so total 66 students out of how many students there are in Senate. So this is strictly first come, first serve.
Most probably, yes.
If we can hit that limit, then it's so good that we are able to do that.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for doing this. This looks really interesting.
Yeah, in fact, like, our president, like when she proposes this one, this is like really very interesting thing. And there is like many good schools, missions, they are already participating in this kind of activities, giving school good, scores. So that is helpful.
And I got involved in this because I've seen my cousins' kids involved in this, and oh my God, the experience they have, the fun they have, and how they've grown and explored in this, it really blew my mind off, and I just wanted to get involved in this. So yeah, it's really an awesome experience, both for the parents and the kids. So yeah.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you very much. This looks great, guys. Thanks for the initiative.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining. Let's rest this one and fill up the form. Timeline is, final date is October 10th, and we can form the team soon. Yeah. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Thank
Thanks.
you.